Evening, everyone. Let's see how to save this. I'm not sure. I'm still learning how to use this. But I do hope you all had a wonderful evening. I know I missed you all on last week. I was feeling bad. I got sick. Like I said in my prior video, I really thought I had COVID. But thank God that I didn't have COVID. But it sure felt like it. I felt really bad. But I'm not going to delay and get into our topic tonight. I've been doing a series on the red flags of narcissistic behavior. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And how it's important to know these flags when you are getting to know someone or you are in a relationship. And the last time I did a video, we talked about the first three flags, one of which is the lack of empathy. So I'm just getting right into it. The first one was the lack of empathy. And the lack of empathy, that sign could look like this person not caring for you, not showing concern for you, not showing concern for your feelings and how you feel or your thoughts, your concerns. They cannot feel your pain of what you may be going through. They won't allow you to express yourselves in a healthy manner. They'll be dismissive. They will gaslight you. So they don't show any concern of caring about you and having a very disregard to your feelings. So that would be considered lack of empathy. And then the second one is grandiosity. And this means that they feel like they're better than you. They feel like they're more superior to you. They come off as very arrogant, very overly confident, when in reality they are very insecure, non-confident individuals. They also like to monopolize conversations. They make the conversation all about them. They become a part of organizations and they always want to be at the top. They never want to be and walk in humility. They are always walking in arrogance. And so that would be number two. And then number three is a big one as well. It's called manipulation. And manipulation is something that they begin early on in the relationships. They come on real strong with the love bombing, showing you excessive affection, coming on real strong with the words. They may even say the words, "I love you," even though they may have just met you maybe a couple of weeks ago or even maybe a day ago. So they come on real strong with the love bombing, which is, in essence, is not real. It's manipulation because they have an agenda. They have an agenda to move in really fast, really quick, because they know if they move in fast that you will miss the signs. You will miss the red flags that's been there all the while. But they have an agenda to come in real swift, real fast, to come in on you. And if you are not using discernment, not using wisdom, not realizing who you are and who this person is and have really strong boundaries, then these people will definitely take advantage of you and manipulate you. They also will come in with this sad story about, how the world has done them wrong, family and friends. They always have a sad story. They never take accountability. It's always someone else. They never take accountability for their actions. And so that's all a part of the manipulation as well. It's coming in with this real sad story, which is fabricated, which is exaggerated. They may have a story, but they never tell the entire story. they leave the part off where they are supposed to take accountability. And so that is where the manipulation comes in. And that's where you have to use wisdom and discernment, ask questions, and then sit back and then watch their actions, because sometimes, most times, their words do not align with their actions. And so tonight we're going to get into, also we talked about fragile self-esteem. Their self-esteem is so fragile. Anytime you want to have a conversation or have healthy dialogue, these type of individuals, their self-esteem is so fragile that they will internalize anything that you say. So if you want to have a conversation about maybe perhaps something they have done, or you want to communicate something in a relationship, they will always turn it around, internalize it, and that's them projecting their insecurities onto you. They also may belittle you. They may call you names. So there's a spectrum, because sometimes they may not have name calling, but they also will belittle you. They may say things that's not nice. They will also not be supportive to your accomplishments. They will only be focused on their own accomplishments. And so that's all part of their low self-esteem. They'll make subtle jokes when in reality, they meant to make those jokes. It's not anything where they were joking around. It's them taking dabs at your self-esteem. And so most of the time when they're taking those dabs at you, it's because they feel insecure about themselves internally. And then we have boundaries. People with narcissistic behavior, they do not have boundaries. They do not respect boundaries. They move in on your boundaries. And that's where, in the beginning, they come across with the love bombing. They moving on your boundaries. So if you don't have real strong boundaries, they're moving in on your boundaries. So they're going to push in. They're going to test them. They're not going to respect them. Most of the time, they don't have boundaries, and they don't want you to exercise your boundaries as well. It may look like them testing your limits by overstepping you, or blatantly challenging your boundaries. But I also would say to reinforce your boundaries. Always reinforce your boundaries. Even if they try to call you on your boundaries, use your boundaries. Follow through on your boundaries. They also use isolation. Narcissists isolate their partners. And this is really, really, really key in relationships. And they use this because if they can get you all to themselves, away from your family, away from your friends, then you will not have a healthy sense of a perspective from other people, because you may be blindsided and you may not see those signs. So if they know that if they can get you alone, away from your friends, away from your family, isolate you to yourself, to themselves, then that's a way that they use for manipulation. Then also you become dependent on this person, because they have gotten you away from your mother and your father and your sisters and your friends. And so you look for this person to validate you. You're totally dependent on this person emotionally, financially, mentally. You're totally dependent on this person because they have isolated you against your whole family. And then the third one, the fifth one we're getting in tonight is called entitlement. Entitlement. So let's go over that. Let's see. So the first one was lack of empathy, grandiosity, manipulation, fragile self-esteem, boundaries, isolation, and the next one is entitlement. And I really do believe that The majority of these behaviors and these red flags in narcissistic behavior, they all are interchangeably and work simultaneously together. So narcissistic entitlement is a core trait of narcissism, where individuals believe they deserve special treatment, privileges, or recognition without earning it. This sense of entitlement often manifests in various ways, such as expecting others to cater to their needs, disregarding rules, or becoming enraged when they don't get what they want. People with narcissistic entitlement might demand constant admiration. They believe they should be the center of attention at all times, making you feel slighted, like you're not worth, that you don't get any attention because all the attention goes to them. And if you are trying to get attention, then they are going to dismiss you. They're going to say you being over dramatic, you being over emotional, you're being sensitive, and also, of course, exhibiting lack of empathy. They disregard the feelings and needs of others as they are fixated on their own needs and not yours. They also become aggressive when you confront them about their entitlement. If challenged or denied something they feel entitled to, they can react with anger and manipulation and passive aggressive behaviors. Also, they exploit others to meet their own demands or maintain their superiority. They may use other tools, showing little regard for their own, and actions affect people around them. This sense of entitlement is often reinforced by their inflated self-image, which is fake, which is false, and a need to maintain power and control in relationships, which is very toxic. Understanding this behavior is crucial in identifying red flags. So how does this show up in relationships? It shows up through emotional neglect. Emotional neglect can look like them not being supportive, not affirming you with their words. It can also look like them not showing you affection. It could also show up with them not supporting you with your dreams, or even pushing you to accomplish your dreams. Or sometimes it could be a situation where you're dealing with something emotional at work or something emotional in your relationships. They won't support you. And it's not to say that you are a person who are not in control of your own emotions. But if you have a partner and you have someone who is someone that's your significant other, you want that person, you want to feel validated by that person. You want to feel loved by that person. You want to feel appreciated by that person. You want to know that this person loves you and cares about you and support you. And so during those times, they will neglect your emotional well-being. And that's considered emotional abuse. And so most of the time they will dismiss your feelings. Even if you call them on it, they will dismiss your feelings, or they will project it. They will dismiss it. They will say that it's not true, that you're lying, or you don't appreciate anything that they do, when in reality, you're just trying to express how you really feel. And also it will look like lack of accountability. They rarely admit or take accountability for their actions in relationships. They will not say they are sorry. They will not take accountability and say, I did wrong. I could have done better in what happened in this relationship. I could have done better in how I treated you or what I said. I could have done better. It could be any type of situation, but they don't take accountability. They will always think that they're right and you are wrong. And so that's what that looks like. You also will feel like you have to walk on eggshells around this person because they don't take accountability for anything. In actuality, it's almost like they take your voice away because that's what they want to do. It's like because they want you to be in submission to them. And so if they get you to not hold them accountable, not bring things up in conversations, in relationships, it should be check-ins where you're like, hey, babe, how do you think we doing in this particular area with our relationship, or our marriage? How do you think we're doing? And they don't want to have those type of check-ins. And so I think it's to take away your voice. Take away your voice eventually by doing that, manipulating and gaslighting you, so you won't never come in and ask them any questions, because that's what they want. They want you to bow down to them. They want to control your every move. They want to control what you do, what you say, where you go. And so once you become accustomed to not checking them or looking for them to take accountability, that's exactly what they want. They want you to not have a voice. Eventually, your voice has been taken away. Your concerns to them means nothing. Only concern that they're concerned about is their needs. And so also they will monopolize time and energy. Narcissists may expect their partner to always be available both physically, emotionally, without considering their own. And this can look like a phone call, something as simple as a phone call. And you could be at work and they think you're supposed to drop things at the drop of a hat. And it don't necessarily have to be an emergency. It could be something as trivial as they need a phone number, or they need something, anything. But they feel like they are so much more important than you. And what they needs are is immediate. And if you don't drop things at the drop of a hat, they will get angry and they will get belligerent with you. And again, also they disregard boundaries. This will look like them ignoring your personal boundaries. Ignoring your personal boundaries could be like a certain way how you expect to be treated. They will ignore that. They also make decisions that affect both parties. They also make decisions that affect both of you without consulting you. They also overreact to criticism when faced with mild criticism. And I believe that in relationships, like I said, we all should have healthy criticism, healthy feedback, especially if you want to grow in relationships and you want something to be better. You can be together for, 5, 15, 20 years. If you don't get feedback from one another, then how can you grow in a relationship? Because relationships grow in seasons. It never stays the same. But in order for that relationship to continue to mature, to continue to grow, to be healthy, then you have to have good feedback. And sometimes that feedback might be critical, but you don't take that internally and take it in a negative way. You take that and you grow from it. You learn to do better in that relationship. You learn how to please your mate. You learn how to please your significant other or your fiance.